are sounding very Jewish out here.
No wine.
All right, guys.
Okay, so first and foremost, we are thrilled to have you all here at the clubhouse. For those of you who have the first time here, we hope you plan to have many times here. For those of you who it's not a first time, you've already figured that out. And summer is a little bit nicer.
Just lock the door on your way out if you're the last one to leave, that's all.
You will figure out that you can actually get back here without any key. So that's important. All right, so this year, I actually thought I would do a little research and a teeny-weeny little bit of teaching, maybe. Those of you who know I'm studying to be a rabbi now. So, all right, so bear with me on this. When we last left our heroes, the Jewish people, it was 167 BCE, and following the relatively mellow reign of Alexander the Great, a new Syrian Greek emperor had come to power. He was called Antiochus IV. His was an oppressive regime. Antiochus made the observance of Judaism an offense punishable by death. He also ordered all Jews to worship Greek gods, and to add further insult to injury, he desecrated the temple by requiring the sacrifice of pigs on the altar. So, eventually, Jewish resistance began, and it started in the village of Modin, which is near Jerusalem. And Greek soldiers there were forcibly gathering Jewish villagers and telling them to bow down to an idol and eat the flesh of a pig. So a Greek officer happened to order a high priest named Mattathias to do such things and to acquiesce, and Mattathias refused. So when another villager stepped forward and said, well, if he won't do it, I will, on behalf of the high priest, Mattathias got pissed off, drew his sword, killed the villager, and then turned and killed the Greek officer as well. This didn't go over well. His 5 sons, including Judah Maccabee, and the other villagers then attacked the rest of the Greek soldiers, killed them all, and ran into the mountains, where they hid for a while and assembled other Jews who decided that this was not okay and they were going to do a major rebellion. So eventually, after succeeding in retaking a portion of the land from the Greeks, these Jewish rebels, who became known as the Maccabees, or Hasmoneans, returned to the temple in Jerusalem. Now the part of the story that most of us do remember. By this time, the temple had been spiritually defiled by being used for the worship of foreign gods and also by sacrificing pigs on the altar. So the Jewish troops that arrived were determined to purify the temple. And they decided that the way to do that was by burning the ritual oil in the menorah, because the menorah is actually something that lives in a temple, not something that was Hanukkah-based originally. And they needed to burn it for 8 days to really purify the place. Unfortunately, they discovered that this little cruse of oil that they found was really only enough to light the menorah for 1 day. But they decided to give it a shot, and to their surprise, it lasted the full 8 days, which was enough time for the horses to get up to Mount Ephraim, press some olives, and get back down to the temple so that by the 8th day, they could continue on and keep the menorah lit continuously. That was the miracle. Now the fun begins. In 164 BCE, the Sanhedrin, which is the high court at the time, the Jewish court, and had all the key judges who were rabbis, who were the most observant and most respected, they decided that a holiday commemorating this whole regaining of Jewish religious freedoms was in order, and so they were going to develop this holiday, which ultimately has come to be called Hanukkah. Now, the rumor has it that there was actually a disagreement. Can you believe that?
Jews disagree.
About how long the holiday should be. So one group said it should be 7 days, because actually the miracle was that the thing lasted 7 more days. Forget that first day. So it should be 7 days. The other side, which pulled stronger, said that it should be 8, because the true miracle was that the 1 day was really all it should have lasted, and that they had enough hope that they were willing to light the candle even though they thought it wasn't going to work. So they won out, and it's now an 8-day holiday. It's called Hanukkah, and here we are. So, fast forward, 2,178 years later, and here we are in Belvedere, California, with no pigs in our temples. Well,
Okay,
I'm
right?
that.
Enough of that.
Our religious freedoms are intact. So why are we still celebrating Hanukkah? And the answer can't be because our ancestors did, or because it makes us more Jewish, or any of those answers are not going to work long term. So now let's ask my newest favorite question of all Jewish holidays and all Jewish practices and even beyond Jewish stuff. What is the job that Hanukkah is supposed to get done? Okay, why do I light a menorah today? How is Hanukkah relevant to me right now, right here? Okay, so here it is. I would say to you, the job that I have hired Hanukkah to do is to remind me that hope and light are inextricably linked. That we can't have hope without light, and we can't have light without hope. And what I mean by that is this. Most, if not all of us, share a universal hope to leave the world a little better than we found it. And each one of us has the opportunity to find a way to shed light in the world. Whether it be through the children we raise, the music we write, the pictures we draw, the chocolate we make, the companies we help start, the science we advance, the students we teach, the communities we build, the words we write, the psyches we heal, the money we give, or the money we raise. In fact, our theme today, Occupy Belvedere, is actually a perfect example of a group of people who were very interested in trying to shed light on an enormous equity gap that exists in our society today that is wreaking havoc. They're hoping that by shedding this light, we can no longer turn a blind eye, but we can begin to see the problem more clearly, and we can begin to actually develop some real work on the issue. And that. So, the light we shed from all of our activities translates into hope for people to live more fully, more healthfully, more spiritually, and more meaningfully. And I close with this thought. This year, when you light your menorah, if you choose to do so, perhaps you can think about your own special light that you bring into this world. And perhaps the knowledge of the light that you can and do and could bring will give us all hope that, in fact, we can leave this world just a little bit better, just a little bit lighter than we found it.